Jesus said, "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which appear beautiful on the outside, but inside are full of dead men's bones and every kind of filth. Even so, on the outside you appear righteous, but inside you are filled with hypocrisy and evil-doing. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You build the tombs of the prophets and adorn the memorials of the righteous, and you say, if we had lived in the days of our ancestors, we would not have joined them in the shedding of the prophets' blood. Thus you bear witness against yourselves, that you are the children of those who murdered the prophets. Now fill up what your ancestors measured out." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Who was Jesus referring to when he criticized and condemned them so harshly, calling them hypocrites, for example, white sepulchres? Who was Jesus criticizing and condemning? The Pharisees. Well, it will be the hypocritical Pharisees, because there are other Pharisees who were not. I think, for example, of Gamaliel, teacher of the Pharisees, who was one of those who, after Jesus died, defended the Christians, and who had been the teacher of St. Paul, or Nicodemus, or Joseph of Arimathea, who were illustrious characters, and they were also of the Pharisees. But who were those hypocritical Pharisees? The first impression one has is that they were those who did not live accordingly to what they taught. Well, it seems to me that there is room for all of us here, and whoever does not feel challenged by this is surely by the most hypocritical of all. We should all feel challenged by this accusation of Jesus. None of us, except the Blessed Virgin Mary, none of you, is 100% coherent in his life with what he professes in his faith. That is to say, we are sinners. The problem is not in being a sinner. That is to say, there is a problem, it's obvious. But the main problem is not in being a sinner, but in not recognizing that one is a sinner. That is what the true hypocritical Pharisees are. That is to say, the problem is when we want to transform the law of God. We want to modify it so that it does not challenge our conscience, and we can continue doing what we want to, deceiving ourselves, saying that this is good. That is the real problem. To this problem is added another one, which perhaps not everyone has, but those who are masters do. That is, when you do not only deceive yourself by saying, since people consider this good, since we cannot go backwards against the world, then we also have to consider this good. We have to evolve, is said today. We have to evolve. What does it mean? What do we have to accept in order to evolve today? And what will we have to accept tomorrow? Because evolution does not stop. Corruption does not stop. If today we have to evolve by accepting some things, tomorrow it will be other things, and the day after tomorrow, other things. How far will we have to go in this destructive evolution of the human being? So the hypocritical Pharisee, what he does is to say to himself, we have to evolve and accept what the world teaches on his knees, not before God, but before the world, on his knees before the world, prostrated on the ground before the world. Whatever it is, today it is one thing, tomorrow another, the day after another. That we're seeing it in the recent history of each one of us, that I have lived a time in which abortion was a crime, and that is something that society, overwhelmingly in a majority way, said it was something bad. I have lived through that time, and now I live in a time in which abortion is a right, and this evolution costs, only in Spain, about 100,000 deaths of innocent people a year. They call that evolution, and it is a point. Naturally, there is much more. We can neither fool ourselves nor deceive ourselves, and that is why Jesus says, it is very interesting when the one he's calling white sepulchres say they look good on the outside, but inside they are full of bones and rottenness. What is the good appearance today? The good appearance today is before the world and before the church. Good appearance today is to say what our fathers taught, what Jesus Christ taught, what the saints taught is still valid. Is that the good appearance today? Whoever dares to say that is insulted, persecuted, sometimes slandered, removed from office, even loses his job, is denounced in court. It does not seem to me that today it is a consequence of having a good appearance to defend the doctrine of the Catholic Church as always. On the contrary, on the other hand, who are those who look good today? There are those who say, do what you want. God is merciful. How much this manipulation of God's mercy bothers me. Do whatever you want. Sin does not exist. Or at least, which bothers you, this is not a sin. Those who are the ones who look good are the ones who receive applause, but they are the ones who in the inside have their bones in the garbage, their rottenness that is not only theirs, but that of all those who have trusted them innocently or because it suited them, God knows. And who have allowed themselves to be dragged along by them and have paid and are paying the consequences. May the Lord help us to always speak the truth, His truth, which is the authentic and only truth. May it be so.